Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. This is Joe, the bearded historian. He'll tell you an interesting story. Be careful of his soldiers, they can be brats. This is Angel, she's an entity. She'll cause chaos and plant her hands at you. This is Sue, she likes spirits, not the alcohol. She's the reason this channel exists. This is David, he likes fire trucks. He's here occasionally. Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. We preserve his story.
Alright, it is Friday, and today's video is a bunch of signs. Why? Because we collected signs, and they were over a minute, and so I have 10 of them for you to look at and read and learn all kinds of interesting, fun things. Plus, I figured it would go well with today's member video. That's right. Our members get a special video, and today, first week is Joe's, and he's doing a video on maps. So they're kind of linked, and that's another reason for today's map race is pirates, because pirates use maps. And read signs? I suppose they would read signs, at least now in the modern days. Are you ready? Here we go. Shout out time. Here's a shout out just for you. You support me, so I'll support you. This shout out is for our friends. Let's see who it is today. Hold on. Okay, so for reasons, the pirate release didn't load, so we're going to go with something that's on roads. This is Cargo Lorry Race. I believe they're like dump trucks, or garbage trucks, I don't know. Anyway, big trucks. Come on. Start. Come on. Whoops. That was my fault. Come on. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. Hiking Ontario, Muncie, Keep Digging, Ron, M-Boys, Zol, Frugal, Mountain Inspiration, Carnival, Tay, Brit Girls, Goldie, Susan, Tammy, there's Blended, there's Marlin, there's Railroad, let's see, there's Not So Daily, there's New, Susan Rambles, John, Glitter, Pinned, there's Carnival, Popcorn, there's Chesner, there's Ian, there is Eric, and let's see, there is GOP3, and there's Lynn. Oh, I can't tell who it is. Oh, it looks like it's Retirement. Hang on a minute. Yep, hold on a minute. Alright, this is Miss Retirement. She's got 9K, which I did not know she was so high. That's wonderful. She has, as you can see, recipes. We've got a commercial here, so hang on a minute. I love commercials. Okay. Here she is, and this one's for oatmeal cookies. I love oatmeal cookies, and I've got to catch up on hers. Okay, and it says here, mother, grandmother, love cook and baking, gardening, and nature. Come on. Believe that no matter what disability you have given, your abilities can make you stronger, which is really awesome. And, of course, like I said, she's got videos, so I'm watching her right here because I got to get caught up. And then she's got some shorts, which are weather and pet related. There's a few food here. And then, of course, she hasn't done live in a while, but she has done them on occasion. So check her out, like, share, comment, and enjoy the video. Officer Row 1909. Big houses.
Consisting of 4 double sets and 1 single occupancy dwelling for the post commander, these were the last officers' homes constructed at Fort Robinson. They represent the culmination of Victorian military architecture with fancy fireplaces and bell systems to summon servants. After military abandoned the fort in 1948, the officers' quarters provided housing for employees of the USDA Beef Cattle Research Station, and have more recently been used as state park visitor accommodations by the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Makes sense.
Yeah, you can stay in one for like $60. They're about the same price as a hotel, which isn't bad.
Yeah. But look at the size of that thing, though.
That's huge.
3 stories.
4.
4, plus the basement. But yeah, you can see the structures all the way on this arch over here. Yes. Now these are the Buffalo Soldiers of Fort Robinson. They were the 9th and 10th Cavalry regiments, called Buffalo Soldiers by the Plains Indians. They were garrisoned here for 18 years and played an important role in northwestern Nebraska history. Organized in 1866, the regiments first served in the Southwest. In 1885, the 9th Cavalry arrived at Fort Robinson, which was regimental headquarters from 1887 to 1898. The Black Troopers helped build the new post with the fort's 1887 expansion and were the first cavalrymen sent to the Pine Ridge Reservation during the Ghost Dance troubles in 1890. Lieutenant John Alexander, the second African-American graduate of West Point, and Henry Plummer, the first black chaplain in the regular army, served here. So did the Buffalo Soldier Medal of Honor men.
Nice.
In 1902, the men of the Fighting 10th Cavalry, veterans of the Battle of San Juan Hill, made their headquarters here. 4 years later, the 10th helped capture Ute Indians who had fled the Utah Reservation, the last military action against natives on the northern plains. In 1897, the regiment left for duty in the Philippines.
Nice.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Okay, now try it.
Okay, Red Cloud Agency. Red Cloud Agency was established here in 1873 for Chief Red Cloud and the Wild Band, as well as other Northern Plains Indians, totaling around 13,000 people. The earlier agency had been located on the North Platte near Fort Laramie. The agency served as issuing points for supplies to the Sioux, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, authorized in exchange for land ceded to the U.S. in 1868. Dr. J.J. Seville, nominated by the Episcopal Church, was appointed as the first agent. Now, a faction of agency Indians joined with visiting hostiles, harassed Seville and the 30 to 40 employees, threatening cowboys, and rode through the unfinished stockade, shooting out windows. After the establishment of the nearby Camp Robinson in 1874, for example, hostiles chopped down new agency flagpole and threatened to destroy both the agency and the military camp. During the Indian War of 1876, the agency served as the center for non-hostiles, and after the treaty ceding the Black Hills to the U.S. was signed in 1876, the death of Crazy Horse in 1877, and the agency was relocated to Pine Ridge Agency in Dakota Territory. That's what you drive by when you go down through Pine Ridge.
Interesting little thing back there. All right, what are you going to tell us?
Well, this is a little monument to Wyoming history, first in the nation. Interested residents of Wyoming have long been marking, preserving, and protecting important historic sites. This one here is the Texas Trail Monument. It says that multiple,
if you can read it over the weeds.
Texas Longhorns each became known collectively as the Texas Trail. One group of Wyoming from Cheyenne headed north for Fort Laramie, Newcastle, Upton, into Moorcroft, and then to the Powder River. We've been in several of those towns already.
Yes.
Dedicated in 1940, the frieze on this monument was originally butterfly. But it was actually originally, this work was inspired in 1927 by the residents. The state of Wyoming created the Historical Landmark Commission, the first state historical markers program in the nation. So again, Wyoming likes to put their foot out first. Let's see what we've got up here. Oh, look at the brand marks too.
Yeah, those are kind of cool, aren't they?
Yeah. This is Texas Trail, Texas to Montana, 1876 to 1897. Along this trail passed...
Here, take this and put it over there. I can't see it.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
This is along this trail passed herds of cattle from distant Texas to replace in Wyoming and Montana the fast vanishing buffalo and build civilization on the northwestern plains. Dedicated by the Historical Landmark Commission of Wyoming, 1940. Interestingly enough, quite a wide swath of these had the unfortunate luck to die due to weather experiences that they had the first couple of years, but they were also being moved up there to help feed the miners who were busy discovering gold in Montana. But you know, we still have a good number of cattle both here in Wyoming and Montana that can be read from those branches. But I mean, you can look and see all the different brands. A lot of different styles. That's kind of wild. And this was originally done in 1940.
I just now saw the cowboy.
Yeah.
I knew there was something there, but I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah, there's a second one right there too.
Okay, now, what does it say, Mr. Bud?
Well, this is along the Cheyenne-Deadwood stage route to the Hat Creek stage station. In 1874, the Army discovered gold in the Black Hills, duh. Resulting gold rush required a stage line that could carry gold from the remote mining town of Deadwood, Dakota Territory, to Cheyenne,
That way.
a commercial center of the Union Pacific Railroad. Well, the U.S. military established a single company infantry outpost called Fort Hat Creek in 1875. 3 stage stations have been near this post. The first was built in 1876, but burned later the same year. A long log building that housed the telegraph station, post office, blacksmith shop, roadhouse, stables, and a store replaced the first one after it burned. In the late 1880s, the 2-story hip roof stage station that stands today was erected and the second station was torn down. Now, the Hat Creek station was located at the southern edge of the most dangerous section of the Cheyenne-Deadwood stage route. Near the station, travelers frequently encountered Indians defending the Black Hills and road agents robbing the stagecoaches. In February of 1887, the last regular stagecoach pulled through the Hat Creek station as the Chicago Northwestern Railroad replaced the stage line. Now, today, the Hat Creek stage station is the last station standing on the Cheyenne-Deadwood stage route. Now, we're actually going to have a chance to drive back there to it. There's also this big building here.
Yes, I saw that building over there.
Yes.
And that building over there.
So, but we will, we're going to go back and check out this one over here in the corner. And it's down this road and back up there. So, ready for a drive?
Zoom.
Zoom, zoom.
Okay. I had to zoom into this picture.
Technology centers. Lots of offices. Just a little dry down there, kid.
A little bit.
Conservation archives. Programs for conservation. Oh yes, trying to get rid of those lever mussels again. Here's a big snapping.
Not just a fish.
Alligator snapping turtle.
It looks fun.
Leg again?
Yes. I don't know what the
wow.
hell.
No, it's really an alligator. An important food source for a nation at war. Oh yeah. Looking under the fish culture. Okay, Ducky ducks again.
I hear the ducks.
1971, the nation's first concert.
All right, we're going to see what this fun little thingy-mabobber is. Ulrich's Historical Society. Hey, look, I found this historical society. I just thought I'd peek.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Maybe they had
So this must have been where their historical society was. Ulrich, South Dakota Centennial Project. Can you read that? I can read some of it, but not all of it.
Ulrich, Dakota Territory began in 1885. Happy Ulrich, 1885, 1902. Of New York. Came in 1882 and bought out several Anglo-American cattle company. At the time, throughout Texas Longhorn cattle ranches, it's kind of hard to read though.
Yeah, between the bird poop and
stuff, yeah.
chipping and stuff.
East of the railroad tracks, there was, again, something hard to read, something ranch.
Farming and ranching.
He brought culture to the town and many social activities took place. Celebrations frequently visited. Ill health forged. So went back to New York in 1887. The town boasted over 6,000 people.
Oh, wow.
At the time.
I don't believe that.
A baiter was built near the railroad, basically where they would harvest cattle.
Right.
Probably to the south of us. Looks like the abater closed in 1889. The settlers began fencing their land, I imagine. Farming and ranching. Community. So yeah,
it's hard to read.
There's a lot of history there. And then of course there's the shop. It looks like they were working on. They still got supposed to be roofing material.
Yeah, maybe they're going to fix it up and actually do something with it. That'd be kind of cool. Because the door looks new, and so does the window.
Yeah. All right. We're going to give you guys a whistle-stop tour here on a very important area that we've got in Nebraska, not here in the Panhandle. To give you a quick tour, it says Butte County, perhaps no spot in Nebraska is so surrounded by historical and geographical landmarks as this one. Numerous landmarks of the period of the Indian Wars are visible from here. The site of a legendary battle between the Sioux and the Crow Indians. Crow Butte lies directly to the south, which is down that way. It is also a pioneer landmark for Indian soldiers and cattlemen. Now, to the west, off in that direction, is the Red Cloud Buttes. From these well-known buttes, one may see the town of Cropper to the east, Fort Robinson to the south, and to the site of the Red Cloud Agency to the southeast. Now, the escarpment stretches north from the buttes, was also a prominent early landmark. Approximately half a mile northwest of this site is the site of the Treaty Tree. We're going to go visit that next. There in September of 1875, while thousands of members of the Sioux Indian Nation looked on, the Allison Commission made an unsuccessful attempt to buy the Black Hills area from the Indians. It was not until after the bloody campaigns of 1876 that the Sioux Commission, headed by George Manypenny, succeeded in purchasing the area, or as they would call it, the take it or leave it deal. But Historical Landmark Council, so we'll go on our ride on north, out in that direction, to show you where the treaty trees stand.
Maybe this time we'll actually remember to record it.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
Look! Titans! Attack of the Titans! Titan AE! Wrong Titan.
Attack on Titan. History lesson.
Uh-oh.
The spring of '61 was the start of a new era for Sturgis. Famous Basin League of the Summer College Baseball invited Sturgis to field a team for the upcoming season. With this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in the community united to build an impressive ballpark in a short period of time, construction of the field attracted substantial attention throughout South Dakota and the neighboring states. As a result, Titan Field became known as one of the greatest exhibitions of community effort in its history. While Sturgis joined the Great Baseball Revolution, its entry rejuvenated the league for years to come, with the opening game having more than 4,000 attendees.
Nice.
The name Titan was selected to represent continental ballistic missile sites throughout Meade County and much of western South Dakota. As a representation, a model Titan were to be placed at the entrance of the field for all to see and enjoy. As the league grew, Bison League teams were farmed out to the major leagues and assigned a parent major league club, with the Sturgis Titans being assigned to the Boston Red Sox. For a long time, the league was known as the best in the country, along with being a wonderful feeder system for the majors. Small towns produced numerous big stars. Rapid City had them, Mitchell had them, Sioux Falls had them, Aberdeen had them, even Winter.
Woo!
Yep. 73 was the end of the Basin League era. The Titans went out on top, ending auxiliary 13-year career, winning their third pennant title, along with the more than 20 former stars signed by major league teams over the years. Titan Field was subsequently named Strong Field in '67 in memory of the local contractor Bob Strong, who has contributed much time, labor, and equipment to the construction of the memorable park, which remains to this day. Interesting. But yeah, the Titans, for the history of it, their biggest problem is that they required a lot of maintenance. They had accidents. One of them actually over by Newell, it blew the warhead off but didn't detonate it. It fell into the bottom of the silo. A couple guys from Ellsworth were able to come all the way up and pull it out of the silo intact and drive it back to Ellsworth. We think the site that we were looking at earlier, out by Alkali Road, off of Titan Road, is the one that was actually blown, bladed, and sealed up, because none of the structures are still intact on top. All we see is rubble. But in the actual Titan was a lot taller. This might have been just a third stage mock-up that they used.
That would be my guess.
But it's cute.
It's cute.
It's red, white, and blue. Very patriotic. Ready to irradiate other countries. As they say, glow little glowworm, glow, glow, glow. But Sue saw this coming back, and we were trying to figure out where the heck the Titans were, because I knew they had missile silos. Around Rapid and Ellsworth, there was actually 3 that I was able to find on the map, and of course all 3 are listed as private property, so you can't go on them. I know, party poopers. I do have contact numbers, and we may be able to stage a walk-in sometime just to
Hopefully.
look at the property. But
But again, tell me that this is not a good place for a geocache.
it'd definitely be a good geocache, either under here or behind the sign, like in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm. There's that little corner right there.
Corner there.
You could technically put underneath. If you found a way to like secure it, like we were talking about with that one horse rider out by.
Even a metal one, you could stick it on the outside of the transformer box, or behind the plate here, or even behind the wall place.
Inside the wall in a couple places.
Yeah.
I'd worry about the window.
Right. Maybe all the way down at the corner.
Yeah.
Or tree.
Tree. Could do one of the tree ones. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah. There's a lot of different places you can stick it up here. And of course, then you've got the other ball field too. So you have to make sure they know which ball field. The strong arm of the law, or something cute like that.
I just put like
Batter up.
could do batter up, but as I figure you put it by the missile, we could just put something like blasting off. Blasting off again! Team Rocket! That'd be my clue. Team Rocket!
Play baseball, have a blast.
Have a laugh. Blasting off again! Well then, whenever you're ready.
Alright. Well, this here is the mark of Minnesota. And the story behind Minnesota is actually one of both double crossing and creative thinking. Like much of the history is sometimes. What happened was these people had an idea for setting up a town here in Butte County. And they called it Minnesota. And in its heyday, I mean, it had houses, it had a saloon, it had all sorts of, accoutrements, farmland, all the way around. And it was, really coming along. And like a lot of these small towns, what they were hoping for was a place that would lure the railroad. And they knew the railroad was coming. I mean, it couldn't be denied. Now, the interesting part of it came about thanks to the name Seth Bullock. Seth was approached by the townsfolk, and they said, well, we want you to go to the railroad and tell them, we have a deal for you. We have land set up that we will sell you. You can bring the railroad through our town. And, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful area. But, now what Seth did, and some would say that it was kind of sneaky, but for him it was also foreshadowing, because he went to the railroad all right, and he told him, you can run the railroad right through my my property, and I'll give you the land free of charge. Mm-hmm. Well, all of a sudden, all these people started flocking to where the railroad went. Now, interestingly enough, in that direction over there, less than a mile away, is where Belle Fourche would be set up. Well, when the railroad went through there, these guys absolutely had a fit. I mean, how could you?
I don't blame them.
Yeah. And, of course, then the other people that, had set up here instantly moved to the new town of Belle Fourche. And you can see there's not a lot left. I mean, there's still some houses, some businesses. This barn over here that we see that's really kind of cool. We might drive up that road right there, because it looks like there's a cabin back there too.
Yeah, I see that.
We've also been to the cemetery at Menaluza, and it's kind of cool, Minnesota. But yeah, it basically is almost like overnight the town just vanished, because everybody wanted to go to where the new town was. Now, granted, the offside to all these fun stories is that, granted, Belle Fourche thrived. I mean, it's one of the bigger towns of the Black Hills. It's got railroads coming in from Wyoming, South Dakota. For a while there, they were one of the big beet-producing regions in the United States, until they discovered that the beets just couldn't keep up with some of the other states. They moved on. But they are experiencing kind of a renaissance right now because a lot of people are actually moving to Belle Fourche. Businesses are coming up here that, you might think, well, maybe they'll just go to Rapid City. They didn't. They're actually coming up here because, it's not a huge town, but at the same time, it's got a decent growth pattern going. And there's a lot of these small towns still nearby that kind of act as suburbs. And so out here where Venezuela was, is still being used to this day. You got farmers, ranchers, different businesses like this. There's even going to be a museum that's going to be growing at Hell Creek that's going to open in April that we want to go check out. And so a lot of the, archaeology and stuff works through this area. But yeah, this is where, and we've been looking for this sign because sometime I had to put up a slideshow of all these little markers that the Butte County Historical Society has set up because they're all over the place. They're in places like Macy, Fruitdale, along the Deadwood, Bismarck Trail. You've got ones in just little tiny ghost towns. They have the one for the town of Acme.
They said there's one that starts with an A. I was trying to remember what it was.
Yeah.
It's Acme.
Acme, Middle Creek, Indian. But yeah.
I've got a few pictures.
Sometimes I'll pull up the map and you just like, there was a town there? And there's nothing there now. Mm-hmm. It's one great big pasture land north of Newell. But, it's kind of the fun that they have with a lot of these open areas is that they show where towns used to exist. And so you can almost imagine what South Dakota was like in those early years, before it even hit statehood sometimes. But yeah, Belle Fourche, it owes a lot to the fact that the people here said, oh, well, that's going to become the county seat. Let's go over there. Because originally these guys wanted the county seat because the county seat to its right, once you got the county seat, everybody wanted to flock where, official business was going to go on. You can have your town hall. Everybody's going to have a town hall. But a county seat, that's given a radius. And also Butte County at the time was also a lot larger. Because back then, Butte County was Butte, Harding, and Perkins.
Ooh.
So yeah, it was almost, in fact, at one time it was larger than Meade County was. But then they said, oh, this is way too much land. But follow us, we're going to go through and see if we can see that little cabin right there. And hopefully not get stuck.
Don't get stuck.
Yeah.